Alright, well, the NBA regular season is over. Everything is set. So, let's do this, guys. I'm going to preview each matchup, give my thoughts on it, give me what I see from all 8 first-round matchups, and when those matchups conclude, I'll move on to the second round and etc. But for now, it's just the first round. Let's start with the West, the Western Conference. We got the Utah Jazz taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. Obviously, the Lakers with home court. Key matchups here. Carlos Boozer versus Pau Gasol. Boozer spent a lot of this year being hurt, and when he got back, he was playing like crap for a long time. But in the last week, he has been playing better. Boozer has looked a little bit more like the Boozer we expect. But has he healed enough to hold his own against Pau Gasol, one of the best power forwards in the game right now? Just really a fantastic player. Probably the best offensive low post power forward, or center actually, in the league. Nobody's better offensively down low than Pau Gasol right now. So, we ask, has Boozer healed enough to compete with Pau Gasol? And can Boozer play defense? Probably not. Boozer has never been very good at defense. So we figure Pau Gasol is going to score his 20 points, probably grab his 10 rebounds, and I pretty much know Pau Gasol is going to play great in this series. So Boozer has to respond in kind. He has to be able to get it done offensively. He's not going to stop Gasol, so he just has to score with Gasol. He has to get his own 20 points. He has to grab 9-10 rebounds. Can he do that? That's key. And the other key matchup is Ronnie Brewer versus Kobe Bryant. I don't know who's going to be guarding Kobe in this series. I don't think it's going to be Deron Williams, because Deron Williams isn't that great at defense anyway. I don't know if they're going to try Kirilenko. I don't think he could do it. And even if he could, theoretically, he's a little messed up in the head right now. He's not right, so I don't think it could be him. Position-wise, the player who's going to go up against Kobe is Ronnie Brewer. And Ronnie Brewer's, not a very good player, doesn't make a lot of plays, not really known, so he's going to have the series of his goddamn life to even make Bryant work for his points. So this Utah Jazz team is not very good defensively, and if they can't contain Kobe, Kobe should probably go off just about every game this series. So somebody, maybe it'll be Ronnie Brewer, maybe it'll be somebody else, needs to take care of business on Kobe. My thoughts on this series. Number 1 is, again, Carlos Boozer. He's a huge key to this series. He so badly needs to be that 20-point, 10-rebound guy. All season, he's been struggling, just playing awful. And then this last couple weeks, he's been playing a lot better. But is he back, or was it just a fluke? I don't know. We'll find out. But it's very important that he plays well. The Utah Jazz big men, huge key to this series. I was thinking about it. They have Mehmet Okur, who's more of a perimeter player. Mehmet Okur loves to shoot the 3. They have Carlos Boozer, who is very questionable in how good he can be this series, especially defensively. I mean, Boozer really isn't a defensive powerhouse or anything. Kirilenko, who is not really a big man, he kind of sort of is, but he's not right. And Paul Millsap, who looks like Paul Millsap has nothing left. I don't think he has anything left for this series. So when you're talking about them going up against Pau Gasol and Lamar Odom and Andrew Bynum, they're probably going to get destroyed. So one of those Jazz big men need to find a way to somewhat even the playing field in that match. I don't think they can do it, but that should be an evisceration down low. Another key, point guard. Derek Fisher, Shannon Brown, Jordan Farmar. Now I know Deron Williams is great. Deron Williams, he's probably going to get his 20 points and his 10 assists, grab some rebounds. He's going to play great. Deron Williams is a great player. He's much better than any of those 3 players on the Lakers. But those 3 guys combined need to find a way to equalize. Just, they need because all 3 of those guys are very questionable. Fisher has not been playing well lately. Farmar has played like crap all year. Brown has been playing alright ever since he started getting some minutes, but I don't trust him. So Those three guys need to find a way to combine and at least produce something so Deron Williams isn't completely destroying. Fourth key, it's an easy matchup for Andrew Bynum because, again, the Jazz big men, not very good down low. I know Pau Gasol is going to have a good series. I'm pretty sure Lamar Odom is going to come off the bench and have a good series. And I think Andrew Bynum will have a good series, but I don't know. He's a question mark. So Bynum gets an easy matchup. He's going to be matched up against Mehmet Okur, who's more of a perimeter player. He's not 7 feet tall, not a dominant center by any means, so he needs to exploit that. My X factor for this series is Trevor Ariza. Trevor Ariza is a pretty big guy. He's a small forward, but he has the defensive skills to play defense against point guards like Deron Williams. If Trevor Ariza can handle Deron Williams defensively and limit him, this should be a sweep. My final conclusion, the Lakers in 5. I think the Jazz win one game just because they're so good at home. Moving on, the Hornets are taking on the Nuggets, the 7 versus the 2. The Nuggets have home court. Key matchups here, very obvious, Chauncey Billups versus Chris Paul. Billups has been touted as an MVP candidate in Denver. His stats are not great, but what he has done for that team is extraordinary. He's kept them together, he's kept the arguments and drama to a low minimum, and has just been worth a lot to that team in a way that goes beyond stats, because that's a team full of crazy people. Chris Anderson, J.R. Smith, etc. But Chris Anderson's my boy. I mean, he's just come back from that drug suspension and everything. Chris Anderson is my boy, the Birdman. Love him. But, you know, Paul is going to have a good series. I mean, Chris Paul is the best point guard in the game right now, just an amazing player, has a chance to be one of the all-time greats. Billups has got to do something to at least hold his own. He can't get completely eviscerated by Paul, because the Nuggets are better than the Hornets, don't get me wrong. I know that for a fact. But if Paul completely eviscerates Billups, they might be able to sneak one just on the strength of Chris Paul. So Billups has got to do something. He's got to hit threes. He's got to play good defense. He's got to find a way to contribute. But that seems pretty obvious. Other key matchup, James Posey versus J.R. Smith. The Hornets have no bench. Mo Pete, not very effective. They have other guys like Sean Marks, Hilton Armstrong. These guys are not really producing. James Posey was brought in to be the bench guy, and he hasn't done that. He's been really, really bad the last 3 months. So it is very, very important that James Posey finds his game, because the Nuggets, they have a good bench. They have J.R. Smith, probably the runner-up for 6th man of the year. And, you know, he can knock down threes like nobody's business. They also have Chris Anderson down low. Excellent defensive guy, hoards a lot of blocks, grabs rebounds, scores points from here to time. So if the Hornets don't get something out of James Posey, they're going to lose the bench matchup. Don't get me wrong, the Nuggets bench is better than the Hornets bench, and that's that. But if James Posey can do something this series, they might be able to at least hold their own and hopefully win in the starters. Thoughts on this series? Chris Paul's has had a historic season. Go look up the numbers, go look up what he's done on a bad team. It's all great. Chris Paul has been great this series, but if he loses in the first round, people are not going to remember it very well. So if he can have a great series, somehow find a way to beat a better team in the Denver Nuggets, that would really immortalize this season for him. It's Carmelo Anthony's turn to get past the first round. He has never been past the first round in his career. This is his opportune moment, his best chance of his career to get past the first round. He certainly should. And this series, I don't know who's going to be guarding him. It might end up being some combination of Peja Stojakovic, James Posey, maybe throw some Mo Pete in there, but it's not going to be very good defense. Melo needs to go off this series just to prove that he wants it, because if Peja Stojakovic is guarding him, it's going to be ugly. Tyson Chandler, back for the Hornets. Can they win the battle down low? Because the Nuggets don't have very good big men. Nene Hilario is pretty good. Chris Anderson's decent off the bench. Other than that, they don't really have a big man. So Tyson Chandler, if he can dominate down low and help the Hornets win the battle down low on the post, That would be huge for this series. And who's going to be the third scorer for the Hornets? Is it Posey, Peja? I don't think any of them have it in them, probably.